What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about whether or not SKORA is worth buying in Star Wars Hunters. Obviously, in the previous update we did just get SKORA and Sprocket both added to the game, and for any of you guys who have played, you'll know that earning crystals and saving up for a new hunter can take quite a while, so it is actually a pretty big decision on which character you end up buying. So whenever I do unlock a new hunter, I'm always going to be making one of these videos, pretty much going over my thoughts on whether or not I think they are worth it. I have already done one of these for both J3 and Sentinel, and as of recording this, I've actually just bought Sprocket today as well, so that one will be coming up right after this one. But like I said, today we are going to be focusing on SKORA. Before we get into it, if you guys are new to the channel, then definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. There's going to be plenty more Star Wars Hunters content on the way in 2022, but with that being said, let's get stuck right into it. So I'm pretty much going to be breaking this video down into a pros and cons list, essentially just going over my overall thoughts on SKORA, and we are going to be starting off with the pros. Now, the first pro that I've got here is that she is super fun to play. To me personally, she is already one of my favorite hunters in the game. She has a really fun, sort of fast-paced playstyle, and I think she is really unique from the rest of the hunters in the game. So for me personally, that is one of the biggest pros that I look for when I'm buying new hunters. It doesn't matter how good or bad they are, if they're not enjoyable to play, then obviously you're not going to have fun with them. But for SKORA, that is definitely not a problem. Now, obviously SKORA comes under the support class, and I will say that she is really good at playing support across pretty much every single mode in the game. I do think she's probably best when it comes to Hutball, and then she's also really good at Escort as well, but I do think Zaina and Sprocket are probably better support hunters when it comes to control. But with that being said, that doesn't mean SKORA is bad at control at all. It's just that those two are a little bit better suited to that game mode. Probably the best part about her being a support hunter is that obviously she has her regular blaster that not only deals damage to the enemies, but it also heals teammates when you shoot them, and that is a really big positive to her playstyle, that you can pretty much always be healing a teammate. With Zaina, for example, you do have to have her back to grenade ready, and so there are certain times obviously when that's on cooldown that you can't actually really do anything for your team. But with SKORA, obviously that is not a problem at all. Pretty much at all times you can be helping your teammates while also dealing damage at the same time. Now, one of the best parts about SKORA that makes her really enjoyable is that she is actually really able to handle herself. There are certain hunters in the game, the first one that comes to mind being, say, Amara Vex, who can get into quite a bit of trouble when you get pushed by someone like Reeve or J3. But the best part about SKORA is that she has the speed boost ability that really helps her get out of those sticky situations, and then on top of that, she also heals herself after a few seconds of safety, meaning if you're getting shot at and then you quickly duck behind cover, you'll essentially start regaining health within a matter of seconds. And so she actually, despite having only 150 HP, does have some really solid survivability. It's just in a bit of a different way than pretty much everyone else in the game. Her rapid fire ability also does help her quite a bit in terms of getting away from enemies or even dealing a lot of damage. If you can land pretty much all your shots with the rapid fire ability on, say, Reeve or Amara Vex, for example, then you can quite often take them out before they really have a chance to take you out. And so even though she is a support hunter, she can definitely handle herself. She's hardly the best damage character in the game, but she definitely has some options there that can allow you to deal quite a bit of damage. Now, I think the last thing on my pros list here is that she is really solid at pretty much any range in the game. She doesn't really have like a niche playstyle in terms of the range. A lot of hunters, for example, obviously Reeve and J3, they are the melee hunters, and same with Groz. They're really only good at close range. If they're at long range, they can't do anything at all. And then there are certain hunters like, say, Sentinel, for example, who really aren't that good at close range, because if they get too close to anyone, then they are in quite a bit of trouble. But the good thing about SKORA is that she is pretty decent at every range, and she's not really better at any single range than the other. So you can handle yourself well at long range and close range, and while she's not really dominant at either of those ranges, she definitely doesn't really have a weakness there either. Now, moving on to her short list of cons, the first one here is that she is a little bit slow to deal damage without that rapid fire ability. Her regular blaster deals, I think, a total of 15 damage once it's actually done that like extra damage afterwards. It essentially has like an acid effect, so you'll hit the enemy and then it will deal a little bit of like caustic damage afterwards. And although that does deal 15 damage in total, the rate of fire does mean that she's not really dealing all that much damage. So if you're looking for a hunter who is really good at getting kill streaks and stuff like that, she's probably not the one to go for. Don't get me wrong, you can still do really well with her, and I've had a few games here and there where I've actually managed to get some, 9 or 10 kill streaks, but for the most part, she's definitely not the hunter that I'm going to choose if I'm trying to get some higher kill games. Now, the other downside to her playstyle, and this is kind of contradicting what I said earlier in that she does have some good survivability. Her survivability is really only good if you can get to cover. If you're taking damage really quickly, she only has 150 HP, and so she is essentially what we all refer to as a glass cannon. If you can get away from danger quick enough, then you can start to heal yourself really quickly, and so playing it smart, you can have some really good survivability, but pretty much if you can't get away from enemies, you will be dead in a matter of seconds, and so it is a little bit of a tricky playstyle to get the hang of. Overall though, my thoughts on SKORA is that she is definitely worth buying if you are looking for a hunter who has a really good repertoire of different ways to play. She can be a really good support hunter, and like I said, you can actually still do pretty well with her in terms of damage and getting kills, so I definitely do think she's worth buying. And like I said, for me personally, she's already one of my favorites, if not my absolute favorite character in the game. I think she has a really fun playstyle, and for me personally, I do always like trying to play that sort of medic role, which SKORA is definitely really solid at. On the flip side though, like I said, if you are looking for someone who is just really good at dealing damage and you want to get more kills per game and stuff like that, she's probably not the one to go for. I would definitely recommend J3 or Sentinel. And I've barely played Sprocket, like I said, I just pretty much unlocked him this morning, but I would even say that he is definitely better at getting kills than SKORA. So I think those are definitely the better options if you are looking for someone who's going to be dealing a little bit more damage. That is going to do it for this one though, guys. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like down below, and if you are new to the channel, then definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Like I said, I have just bought Sprocket, and I'm going to put in some pretty solid playtime with Sprocket to pretty much make this exact same video, but for him, and that will be going up in the next week or two, so make sure you don't miss out on that one. If you want to support the content that I make here on YouTube, then do consider supporting the channel over on Patreon. The link to that is down in the description. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and may the force be with you always.